Coleman B73 asks, do you most commonly program macros or do you like to write out meal plans? So check it out. This is just what I've seen. It's not necessarily what I prefer, but it's what I've seen. I have seen that most clients that I work with that aren't incredibly well versed with nutrition, that haven't had successful cuts or bulks on their own, that haven't been successful in managing their body composition on their own, they are not going to be as successful as they are not going to be as successful with just macros as somebody that is on a dedicated meal plan. What it basically boils down to is that unless you have found success tracking macros on your own, you simply don't have the systems in place to be consistent. At least that's what I've seen. Point blank, period. The clients that I have that are on a set meal plan get better results than the clients that I have that are on a macro-based plan. The macro-based plan, right? And I still break things down per meal. I have totals for the day. So how much total protein for the day, total carbs, total fat for the day. But I also break down per meal what those macros should be, right? To get the totals by the end of the day. That is a system there, right? That in itself is a bit of a system. And if you don't have a system like that in place, and you just have a macro target for total for the day, one day you might eat 3 meals, one day you might eat 5 meals, one day you might eat, 2 meals. And in that, you increase the likelihood to be off track by the end of the day, right? And another layer underneath that is that it's really easy to get caught up in just macros. I've said this before, fuck your macros. Macros are not the only thing that matter. Okay. So macros don't dive into nutrient quality. They don't dive into the quality of the food. Okay. So like a Ferrari, you got a Ferrari, you want to be a Ferrari, right? Well, you're going to have to put high octane fuel into that Ferrari in order for it to perform like a Ferrari. You can't just put regular pump gas in because it's not going to be able to perform the same way. It needs high quality fuel. So the fuel itself, right? Macros, that's one component of it. But the micronutrients, the quality of that fuel, that also matters. And so when you have somebody that's just looking at macros and doesn't have a good understanding or doesn't have the discipline to consistently eat fruits and vegetables, and doesn't have the discipline to consistently eat high quality fat sources, your avocado, your olive oil, your whole eggs, your walnuts, right? Your almonds, things of that nature. And they're just getting their fat sources in from whatever animal sources or processed foods because it fits the macros. You're going to have two different outcomes, and it's not going to show up immediately, and it may not show up in your body composition, but it will show up in your overall health and longevity. So to wrap that up, I prefer to do a meal plan because I see better outcomes with it. And once I have a client that has run on a meal plan for a while and they understand and they've adopted the systems that I put into place for them, then we can start moving away from that and giving them some freedom and autonomy because they've developed the habits and skill sets in order to be able to consistently nail a well-rounded, high quality diet.